Hi Talia, it's Rachel. I'm going to give you some feedback while I watch your piece. I know we've already discussed some of this feedback, but I still hope that this will be helpful over the recording. I do think that you can continue to look for places where you can edit the piece down, and I know it's been hard to figure out where those places might be. I really love the piece, and I'm glad you're feeling proud of it. I just read the your process paper. I think there's a lot to be proud of in here. And the wall is a very exciting addition, and I think it is both a set and a prop, and sort of another character in the piece in a way. Okay, here we go.
Feedback would be great. I haven't had a chance to work with this wall yet, so that part might be a little bit rough. Yeah.
Okay. I've always imagined that, I'll turn down the audio a little bit here. I always imagine that you are going to, that we're going to see the lights fade up as you're already in this movement. I'm wondering about that because you start in such a specific place. But I really want to see you in action as soon as there's any light on your body. I didn't think about this in the showing, but looking at the video, you know, the wall creates this real sense of a frame, being in a frame or being outside of a frame. So here you're just right outside the frame. Of course, some people in the house left would see you within the frame, but I think that might be something to think about where you place yourself in relation to the wall in the opening moments of the piece. As Colleen mentioned in her feedback, I really love the amount of repetition. And actually here is a moment where using the dress is really great because we see the swoosh of the fabric as you just repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat this action. How you shift from this action to the next is extremely important. So how you move from having your arm extended to that elbow back is really important. I love this action. How you land that turn is important. Don't rush through anything here. Land the turn. This is really, really interesting. I think it's important for you, Talia, to start practicing this in front of people. I want to go back to this section because I know this is a technically challenging one for you. Okay, sorry, we just went backwards a little bit because I want to talk about this pass. Really land the inside and the outside of your foot on the floor. Now, land, land, land. Let the center of your body become activated in these moments. That was better this time where you kind of crossed over the center line of your body. I think sometimes when you're doing that section, your limbs get too far to the side and they become really hard for you to manage. As I mentioned, I really like the hands over the top. I almost don't think it doesn't necessarily have to happen that time. Maybe this time it can be the hands over the top, so it's like a development. Not sure about the repetition of the same movement on both sides of the wall. It was okay. And I like the idea of just doing a small amount of movement against the wall and then leaving the wall. So I like you in front of the wall and not touching the wall. and then maybe leave it here. And then you can come back to it. I know Colleen had maybe suggested breaking this up into 3 sections. I love this wall material. As you can find ways to put more weight into the wall. Look at that cool shadow. Hey, it's a repetition of you. I think that this section could come a little bit later in the piece. It felt to me in the showing that you spent too much time on the wall too early in the piece, as I told you in our conversation the other day. That's another interesting action that could be repeated without the wall. That was another place that you could have left the wall when you were walking with your hand above the wall. And this could be the 3rd section if you wanted to do that. I'm not sure that you have to have 3 sections against the wall. I really like that movement. Again, transitioning from that moving, that locomotor lunge to this repetitive action. The actual moment of transition is really important, how you transition. Still my favorite moment in the piece when you look out at us. I see the plane of the floor all of a sudden as a place of movement, which is really interesting, and I love this. This whole floor section is really interesting. Could be interesting to play with a little version of this floor section that has 0 repetition in it, just as a little break that moves from one movement to the next, motion as being stuck in repetition. Here's a moment where I feel that pretty soon she could go back to the wall if she wanted to. I love this section. It's so gutsy. That was a moment that you could go back to the wall there. I mean, that is beautiful. Holding that bent leg and your spine extended is a moment that you could hold a little longer. Here's another moment. Here's where I kind of felt like, okay, stop interrupting yourself, Talia. Let some of the phrases go a little longer. Even though I really like this suspended movement, I craved, you asked what we crave for, I craved a little bit of momentum, a little bit of freedom. And oh my God, I love this section, this moment too. But I think to cleanse the palette for the viewer a little bit, some of these things can just sort of be moved through occasionally and allow a longer phrase to be repeated so that the duration of the phrases varies. This gesture, I think it would be even more powerful. I love this, what's happening with the sound here. I love coming back to the floor stuff. Here's another place. You're very close to the wall. I wonder if this is where the gobo should come on with all this repetition happening. You know, because this is something we know so well. Oh my God, if you can make it happen so that your hair flies out there, I would be so excited. Again, don't stop. You're going in a certain direction. Go there. How can you make that second move in the same direction that your momentum was already traveling? How can you make that little foot thing move a little faster? I love these circles. Can they be as specific and be slow? Can all of this move have a sense of movement and momentum so that it's not shape oriented, so that when it does slow down, it's like really, really crazy. So I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but at this moment, I'm like still really interested in the piece, and my mind is starting to go like, how long is this solo going to continue for? Because of the repetition, there's just this sort of, it could go on forever, right? I have the feeling of going on forever. So I think it's a real challenge to find the optimum length for this piece. There's so much material that's so good. But I do kind of think that you could cut 2 or 3 minutes out of the piece and it wouldn't hurt it. And again, don't take that the wrong way. It's a fascinating piece. I love this diagonal. This is as far as you've gotten from the wall. It's really nice that you separate. I love the head circle. If you do decide to keep the text, I think just focusing on the quality of the voice, being very specific here would be helpful. But I think you could do without it. I think some of that middle material that just preceded this, if it moved a little faster, you might be able to cut some of it out. Going back to the wall. I like the sitting still. I like the coming back to the repetition. There's this nice sense of freedom. That gesture is like the anchor for the piece. Go, 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 go. Good, Talia. This is great. Don't stop. Don't stop. Your pelvis keeps moving through space. It just totally breaks the momentum. Not just the physical momentum, but the sort of sense that the piece is continuing to progress. Okay, we cannot lose this section, and where you are in stage is extremely important. I love that moment. And finding how to be brave going up against the wall. It's almost like you're just going to take off into the air, and you got to keep repeating that forever. Really, really, really nice piece, Talia. So if it's 11 minutes long now, I would say, what's the 9-minute version? What's the 8-minute version? To challenge yourself to condense it to a really, really concentrated thing. Very much looking forward to the next version of this.